Jane, it's that time of year that we love, but there's so much going on. I mean, it's always been this way, but this year there seems to be a special meaning to it because I think a lot of people are really being challenged. But you have a lot of people that you have talked to, checks that have been presented. You and I have been out there talking to people. I had a great little encounter with a little later 9-year-old. We'll talk about it a little bit, but tell me a bit about what some things you've been doing.
Yeah, well, last week in particular, we had the Nesbitt County Foundation. We had, and the family come down. We had CBC Sounds of the Season. We visited Toyota Town for the Overall Foundation, Toyota Town and Lexus. I mean, it was huge. But we also got an email from the Mitch and Catherine Aaron Family Foundation. I got to make sure I say that right. Now, they've been supporting for a while. They've been great supporters of ours, but due to the times, they doubled their donation, $100,000, like amazing. And yeah, that was like a huge surprise.
So Mitch Barron, we have quick memories of him.
We do.
Everybody in town, who's been around for any length of time, knows him. I mean, he was a real giant here. But he headed up Trudell Medical, right? And when we decided to move, whatever it was, 15 years ago, whatever, so we moved into their...
20?
Was it 20? And we moved into their building that they had just vacated when they moved to the new one up north. And boy, they were a big help to us, right? They gave us the racking, advice, all that kind of stuff. So Mitch was really there for us about that. I know his family foundation has given to us previously. But what else do you remember, Mitch?
Well, we actually followed them around. The building before the one we're in, 269 Colburn Street, was Trudell as well. So we kind of followed them around. I mean, obviously there was the golf tournament. That was employee-driven, employer-sponsored.
So that golf tournament.
Yeah.
So I had just had a major operation in the hospital.
Got out that morning.
Well, yes. And Mitch wanted me to come to the golf tournament that Trudell was having for the food bank. The problem was I was not allowed out of hospital till the next day. So I talked to my doctor, and he said, "Glenn, you got to be kidding." And I said, "Look, it's for the food bank. I think it's worth it." So you picked me up at the hospital, and out we went to the golf tournament. And I remember Mitch wanted me to speak at it. Do you remember that? And I had to try to stand up and do it, and it wasn't in the best shape. And he felt so terrible about it, right? But we had such a good time there in Trudell, and the golf tournament was so awesome. But I remember Mitch a lot from that.
Yeah, there was that. There was chili cook-offs. There was lots of things that actually I found him to be incredibly generous. I found him to be quite interactive with us as well. Quite funny. It was actually really great. But both of them, both Mitch and his wife, have now passed away. So the family has taken on the foundation, and it's just they've continued that same legacy. Because obviously they support the food bank a lot, but they actually do way more than that in terms of the community, whether it's Research at Western or other things as well. It's such an important part of London.
Yeah. So for this Christmas, as you know, at Thanksgiving, we just said we were going to pivot towards kids this year. And because now 1 out of every 3 kids is food insecure in London. So we wanted to move that direction. So it was kind of confirmed when Tim Hortons decided to do their Smile Cookie campaign for sure. We were in this and that then. But that ended up getting us how much?
$101,000. Altogether, it raised $200,000, but we shared it with the Tim Hortons Camp Foundation and obviously with...
And it was a Smile Cookie campaign, but it was really focused on kids, which is great. So we as a food bank really love that. We see kids down at the food bank volunteering and coming down to classes and everything else. But this past week, and I put a little video on it, I was out shoveling snow because Jane was gone. I was out shoveling snow, and this little boy came by, 8 or 9 years old. His name was Jason. He was in a snowsuit, and his mom was with him. And Jason said school was canceled today. They knew that we lived here. So he said we were collecting food and money for the food bank, and I wanted to give the money to the food bank for Christmas. So he gave me a $20 bill, which was just awesome. I kind of got choked up a bit because, people often focus on these massive checks and things that people, companies and others give to us, and it's wonderful. But the vast majority of gifts that we get come from people just like Jason and his mother. That's really true. I mean, when you look at the books and all that we have, it's these little small donations that seem small to maybe to the people that are giving them. But when you add them all together, they're greater than all of those other big ones that are doing it. I think I always feel that like that about the food bank. Like it really is a granular kind of grassroots thing. And I really love it. I know you feel the same, but it seems to me that's not changing much. You still see a lot of that, plus the volunteers.
Yeah, so we've always been of the philosophy that you give what you can, and obviously if you have more means,
Yeah.
you give what you can. But the folks that sacrifice that, let's say, can only give a can of food because they actually happen to be using the food bank, that's incredibly meaningful. So I think obviously the impact of a larger donation goes farther, but the emotional meaning is exactly the same. And so when you look at what the little boy did, or the kid who collects food for his birthday, there's real impact on that as well in a different kind of way. And I think that's what actually makes the food bank so great, because we are still very, very grassroots. And obviously it's the same thing with volunteers. We have former MPs down at the food bank, not just you. We have former MPs, we have former executives, we have former heads of company. We have families who are fairly well off, but then we sports stars. But the average person who, is just growing up, whether it's a kid or whether it's someone who's just retired, lots of teachers, I mean, it's pretty amazing seeing everybody together. So it's that common ground where we can all meet, regardless of our circumstances or where we've come from.
Yes, and I remember when Damien Warner came in, he's well known. It was a big deal. Everybody loved it. And it's great. And it means a lot to us. It encourages us. But when the 4,000 volunteers come down, it's totally different, right? You just get the feeling that this is everyday occurrence, average people weighing in, making their differences. And it's just such an awesome thing. And I think I feel more of this Christmas because the times are much tougher now for us as a food bank, for a community, for the people that are receiving help, and also for the people that are donating. Times are really tough. But around you, there's a community of people that are just down because they want to help, and they might not get ever noticed. They might not ever be famous, or like Jason, they'll come in and worry that they've missed out on their donation, but haven't. I think for us, this Christmas has been a bit of a different one that way. The challenge has been so great in the community. But boy, it means a lot to us, right? And
100%.
And we're going into our 40th year, right? So we've had a lot of Christmases. Life has changed so much for all of us in this community. And now we're really hard pressed, and we know all of that. But I see so much activity in this community about people, not just up in the food bank, but all the different agencies and great causes in town, public institutions, all of those things. It's been great. It's been a great Christmas for me anyway.
Yeah. Wonderful Christmas.
So thank you, everybody. And we appreciate all the donations, big, small, everything in between. It's what makes the community.